That's the mindset we have to have, that we are programmed to fail. Not that we are, I am failure. No, you're not failure. Nobody's failure. Everybody is power, divinity, and are here to have dominion over all things and have prosperity, extreme peace, extreme wealth, whatever you call that. That's what you're here for. You're not here to live in a depressed mindset. That's not what the purpose God put you here for. That is a man-made generated purpose when you feeling like you're not good enough. And the sad part about it, our religious structures have programmed us with that. See, this is scripture. How can you take the straw out of your brother's eye when you have a rafter in yours? Now, if you understand what that scripture is saying, that means that on one hand, I cannot fix anyone because I got a big old blockage in my vision. And my blockage is I'm still trying to get it right for myself. I can't see around my own issues. So any information I'm giving you is going to be incomplete. It's not going to be consistent with what you need. That's why I always say the best answer I can give you, go within. Study the words yourself. Read things yourself to kind of give you enhancement. I read stuff like Reverend Ike stuff to remind me of my power. Because sometimes I'll forget. I'll get lost. And stuff like this bring me back. I'll read these things over and over again. I'll listen to the same recordings over and over again. So imagine if you was armed with the knowledge that the feminine aspect is wisdom. So now you know what to look for in a wife, a woman who has wisdom. And I mean, look around us. Look around. There's not many of that going on. Wisdom. Everybody's chasing after the next fad or trend, you see? Everybody's doing things that are not wise. Why? Because we come from a system that taught us not to be wise. They taught us that we needed their education system to go get a job. That's not wisdom. That's not wise, because that's not what God gave us. Remember, wisdom is worth more than gold, silver, and any riches you got. See, when they told the story of Solomon when he became king and God asked him what he wanted, he said wisdom. This here, it really opens your eyes up to why they took this out, so that you don't see the power of both man and woman. So they had to choose one. They chose one and put the other one down, and you need them together. See, that man, Solomon, knew he needed wisdom. He needed that feminine aspect of knowledge and understanding and compassion. So now is, what are you going to do? You heard what I had to say. And most of all, let's keep it real. I'm only repeating what you've already said to yourself. That's why you're here. That's why you tune in every week. Yeah, I'm only repeating what you already said to yourself. I'm not saying anything new. I might be saying it in a different way. I might be saying it in a different tone. I might be saying it with some force differently. But for the most part, your spiritual self has been knocking you over the head, telling you, hey, what you doing? Hey, 3 o'clock in the morning, get up. Write that thing, that inspirational thought you had. Write it down. Or go act on it. And what do? You look at that clock, turn over, I'll get it later and go to sleep. Hakeem, how you know? How you know? You in my bedroom? You can see us? You spying on us? No, I ain't got to spy on you. I ain't got to know. I know how we are. I know what we really are, and we all operate the same way. We come from the same designer. We come from the same designer who designed us to be spiritual and powerful and divine. And the way we get our inspiration is when everybody's calmed down and all the negative energy is subsided. That's when, in the wee hours of the night, is when God can really speak to you and get you in that corner and start to talk to you. That's what happens. How you know I can't? Because it happens to me all the time. And a lot of times I listen, and then sometimes I don't. And I always regret when I don't. Peace, peace. What's up? Peace, prosperity, extreme wealth to everyone. How you guys doing out there? I wanted to do this show last week, and it was called Sovereign Immunity. And some of y'all want to know, what does that mean, sovereign immunity? Is that about me, or do I have sovereign immunity? Well, technically you do. If you connect everything to your religious beliefs, that gives you sovereign immunity. But there's another entity that's been using it on us. They don't want you walking in the courtroom saying you're sovereign, but they got it built into their laws that they are sovereign. They have sovereign immunity. Let me show y'all. Let me show you. Here, let me share the screen real quick. It's not what I wanted to do. Chrome. That's what I want to do. Let me get my volumes right. Give me a second. All right. You should be able to hear me. All right. So here it is. Sovereign immunity. The sovereign immunity means the government cannot be sued without its consent. So you gotta ask them, can I sue you? What you think they're gonna say when you ask? Yeah, you come on in. Sovereign immunity was derived from British common law doctrine based on the idea that the king could do no wrong. In the United States, sovereign immunity typically applies to the federal government and state government, but not to municipalities. Federal and state governments, however, have the ability to waive their sovereign immunity. The federal government did this when it passed the Federal Tort Claims Act, which waived federal immunity for numerous types of tort claims. So they waived on certain things that their agents do, you can still sue them. So they came off the Federal Tort Claims Act. And various considerations related to federal immunity. Under the Ferris Doctrine, those who are injured during their military service cannot sue the federal government. So there's one there. Under the Westfall Act, federal employees cannot be sued for torts committed during the scope of their employment. Citizens suing their own state. When determining whether a citizen may sue a state actor, someone acting on behalf of the state, i.e., a state worker, courts will typically use one of four tests: governmental versus proprietary function test. Was the actor functioning in governmental fashion or a proprietary fashion? If the actor was performing a proprietary function, i.e., acting for financial gain for itself or its citizens, doing something that is not historically a governmental function, doing something that can be performed by a private corporation contract, then the actor is subject to liability. If the actor was performing a governmental function, i.e., acting for the general public, doing something ordained by legislature, performing a historic government function, then the actor is not subject to liability. These are ways you can and cannot sue. Ministerial operational versus discretionary functions acts test. Was the actor performing a ministerial operational task or discretionary task? If the actor is performing a ministerial operational action, then there is not immunity. If the actor is performing a discretionary action, then there is immunity. It goes on and on. The reason why I brought this up, because this corporation, owner of a corporation, the Texas owed him about $30 million for a contract. And so Texas dismissed his claim under sovereign immunity. So what that means is he went into business with Texas, probably not reading the fine print or not knowing this law, that he couldn't sue them if they didn't pay him. Why? Because it was acting under they probably procured that contract while under their regular functions as the government. So think about that before you start working for the government, getting contract. Think about it. They can call in sovereign immunity on you. This is why I was reading it, and I thought it was funny how they got laws making them sovereign and you're not. But how are you not sovereign? Because you're using their documents, their birth certificates, their driver's license, their social security cards, all of that. You're using their stuff. And that entity that what you think and is you is not really you. It's their business that they created for them to do business with. This is why I'm doing the seminar or the webinar next week, September 30th, to discuss that. How do we make ourselves immune gives ourselves sovereign immunity. You have to create your own documents. Yes, you can create your own birth certificates. You can create your own marriage certificates and get those authenticated under your religious beliefs. You're going to have to, I've been helping people create churches, but you're going to have to, do y'all know that when I've been created a lot of churches for people, but only one person wanted me to actually put specific language that they wanted, custom language in there, out of all the ones I created. Just because I created that church for you doesn't mean you can't put in your own language that you're comfortable with. Add in some stuff. And that's what I'm going to be talking about next Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern time on Zoom. That's what I'm going to be talking about. Let me give you guys the link. Now, if you are let me stop sharing my screen here. If you are a premium member, all you got to do is go into the premium membership and get the link. You're gonna have different pricing. You're gonna have a discount. For non-premium members, it's only $147 to join, and you will get the templates and a video with that. So you get the recording and the video in the templates. So what I'm going to be going over how to create your own documents when it comes to birth, marriage, even baptismal tickets, certificates if that's what you want. Passport, updating the process on how to submit that passport with these documents, how to even get them authenticated by the Department of State, the Federal Department of State, how to get those authenticated. Already done it. Did a couple of marriages. They've gotten their stuff notarized, authenticated. One is being sent off to the federal so that they can authenticate that document. And now you have authenticated paperwork. I'm going to be teaching how not only do it for your up and coming children, but even do it for yourself. For yourself. Yes, you can create your document for your own birth, even though you've been here for a while. You can do that. You have a right to do it. So what I was looking up here, just lost my train of thought. I was looking up something. Oh, I was looking for the link. Just go to my email here. If you're on my email list, you should have gotten an email with it earlier. Should have gotten an email. I'm gonna stick it in the chat for you guys. Now remember, if you are a premium member, do not click this link. You're gonna be charged more money. And I created a price point for the members. Members are paying only $97 versus the $147. Here's the link. That's for non-members. All right. So join in if you want to learn how to create your own documents that can be for. Now, I've even seen people create their own ID and it worked. They got on the airport, got on an airplane with their own ID that they created. I know they come, oh, you need real ID, you need this, you need that. That I've seen people get on without it firsthand. Now you're gonna have to go through some of those extra security checks. They're gonna pat you down and all of that, but you'll still be able to get on a plane. So this is Q&A Mondays. If you got a question, put it in the chat. I'll answer it. Am I using a new camera? No, it's the same camera. Why? The same one, the same camera I always had. What I did was I did the lighting. It's all about the lighting. The lighting is making it, but it's the same camera that I've had for 4 years now. I answered that question. If you want to get on Telegram, the link is there. If you got a question on there, just raise your hand. And I could open up your mic and you could ask your question verbally, or you could just type it in the chat. One or the other. And I'll read it out loud. If you just have something to share. Man, this year's gone, man. It's pretty much. It's gonna be time to file those 1099s come January. Come January. And I also put the link in my calendar in Telegram. So those of you who are members on Telegram, you can just click that link. Remember, that is for non-members only. The link for members are in the premium membership. Go there and sign up there. I may not be able to do a show tomorrow because I have to fly out of town. I got to go to Texas, going to San Antonio, Texas, for a couple of days. I'll be back on Thursday. But let's see if I got some questions here. Let's see what I got. Yeah, it's the lighting, DJ. I used to have the light facing right behind the camera on it. Then I turned it around and I faced it at the wall. It gives a different effect. All right, no questions, y'all? Those of you who are in my premium membership, go get those. Y'all better be ordering those 1099 forms now, like now, because they in a month it's gonna be hard to get them because all the businesses is gonna be ordering them along with you trying to get them. So just get on it. All right. I guess nobody got no questions. Y'all love to just ask. Y'all like just to only ask your questions through emails and text. I think it's just a lot easier to get on here and ask the question. You know, just ask a question. Stop being shy. Stop being shy. Oh, I see somebody got a question. Yeah, hold on. Listen, let me make sure before I open the mic, all my sound effect things are working right. Because sometimes what'll happen is it won't. Make sure. All right, let's open this mic up. Allow to speak. All right, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Good evening. How are you, Akeem?
I'm doing good. How are you?
All right. I didn't even know if this was a recording or if this was really live. So, and I,
Oh, it's live. They hear everything
so,
you're saying right now.
oh my God, I was like, is this real?
Yes.
So, what is this meeting about? That's my question.
You didn't get the email I sent out?
No, I did not. I'm so
You must
sorry.
not be on the email
I'm
list.
busy today.
Go to my website, ikeemail.com, and put yourself on the email list. It's basically showing you how to create your own birth certificate, marriage certificate, and including that with the passport process so we can stop using these governmental forms. People
What?
like, can I make my own birth? Yes, the church has been making birth certificates since the beginning of time. We just stopped
I mean,
using
I
them.
knew that, but I didn't. I mean, I didn't know that we still. You can do that. Long.
Yes, yes. Long as it's got two witnesses on it, that's really all you need.
So with a marriage license now, and it's interesting that you would say that
Not a marriage
because
license, a marriage certificate. A marriage license is what the
okay,
government gives you to get married under their jurisdiction. You don't
okay,
need a marriage license under religious rights. You don't need that.
all you need is a marriage certificate with
Certificate,
two witnesses.
two witnesses. That's it. What does the Bible say? Oh, let me make sure everybody can hear. Can y'all hear her questions? I just want to see what the chat says, but
And I'm a little hoarse. Sorry about that.
that's fine. Um, the Bible says in order to prove something, how many witnesses you need?
Two or three.
Mm-hmm. When they said when you want to correct your brother, go get someone, bring him back. If you can't correct him, you get another person. You get more validation. So that's where the two witness doctrine come from. The Bible. The courts are using the Bible all the time. They're actually the courts are using the Bible like they should.
Mm, mm, mm.
We don't use it, but the churches stopped promoting. They promote baptisms and christening, but do you know you can use that to get a passport, a christening, a baptism
No.
record? Yes, it says it
Now
in
I
the
knew about
instructions.
the marriage thing because actually, me and my second husband, my first husband passed away, and when me and my second husband got married, we got married in his bishop's front room. We didn't have license to first, but we did have him, his wife, and his daughter there.
That's all you
We
need.
went for marital counsel and wound up getting married. And I
That's all.
thought it was just because before God. I mean, I
That's
knew it was
it.
before God because Africans do it all the time.
Right.
They had traditional, and then I know some Muslims do it. I heard. Let me say that, and that's how a lot of times they're able to marry more than one woman. But I do know that the word tells us that God ordains marriage.
Right. That's the way it's supposed to be. But when you go and get a marriage, y'all know what marriage licenses were created for? Why they even started?
To tax people, probably.
No. Nope. Mm-mm. I'm gonna give somebody a chance to come up. The reason why they created it.
It probably got something to do with the. I mean, if they creating a straw person,
In this country, why did they
yeah.
create marriage licenses? And every pastor and preacher is pushing you to get this thing. They created marriage license. It was really. Hold on, hold on. Let me get my my Black's Law dictionary, and it had the definition of marriage.
Mm.
This is the third edition. This is why it's very important to understand what you're doing. Just because the government say do it doesn't mean you need to be doing it.
Mm.
Because they remember anything that the government wants you to do is for their benefit.
Yeah, that's why I was saying tax purpose because they're gonna show you got to pay for the certificate for one
Um,
and for IRS purposes.
okay. Give me a second. Find it. The actual thing. Right here. In my Black's Laws dictionary, it says a license or permission granted by public authority to persons who intend to intermarry. That's INTERMARRY. So what does intermarriage marry means? It didn't say to marry, it says intermarry. Marriage license. That's what it says in Black's Law Dictionary. So what does
It sounds like
intermarry
it's
mean?
allowing different cultures to be able to the enter word is there.
Exactly. It was a law created
Intertwine.
to keep blacks and whites from marrying. That's what it was created for. That was the origin of it. Because once they started freeing the slaves and all of this stuff, and they didn't want. Now, when you hear a Caucasian tell this story, it was to prevent blacks and whites from marrying, which is true. But that story is in reverse. Remember, who was the originators of everything over here? See, they like to want you to believe that these Native Americans was running around with grass skirts on and stuff like that. They weren't civilized. You notice how Europeans love to call everybody else not civilized. When it really was the other way around. They got taught civilization by the people of color. We created that law, marriage license, to keep our people from marrying them. But of course, they want to say, no, it's this and that. But really, that's how it was. But if, when a victor tells a story, he always tells the story in reverse. He tells his side of the story to make himself look bigger. But so when they went before they had to show up and they had to see what you look like, and then they gave you permission to marry. So it wasn't everybody else just got married. But if you are of different culture, you had to get permission to get married. That's what the license was created for.
So if you can use a marriage certificate to get married, two questions: do you have to file it with the government, with the state, and what if you decide to divorce? You got to then create a certificate.
What does the Bible say? What did Joseph was going to give Mary when he found out she was pregnant? What did Joseph do? Well, as we talk about the divorce part, what did he say he was going to do?
I don't.
He was going to divorce.
He was going to marry her anyway, but
no, he had already married her.
Oh, okay.
They were already married, and
she said that she was going to be pregnant.
When he discovered, wait a minute, this woman got a baby. Where'd she get this baby from? It ain't mine. And then God had to intercede and say, "Hey, no. That's a divine pregnancy you dealing with there, bro. Chill out." Right? He was going to divorce her in secret. If you got a computer in front of you and you put Bible and divorce certificate.
Well, I know the Bible stipulates the only reasons that you could divorce, but I was talking about I guess you hitting on that.
Actually, that was a suggestion. That wasn't really written in stone. That's a suggestion that you marry on the grounds of adultery.
On the grounds of
because
adultery.
they really marriage. Once you married, they didn't want you to get a divorce. Well, we'll give you this. That's basically how that went down. But far as the divorce, all the husband was required to do was give a divorce certificate. That's it. And he was going to do it in secret. It wasn't this public thing, going to court. Hey, it was going to be done in secret. Because really, how marriages was usually done way back when, there wasn't no real big ceremony. It was just the family got together and they made this agreement. They were married. Done. See you later. There wasn't all these big fancy weddings and all of that. The family got together. They married. Boom. It was something. They exchanged something. I forgot what it did. They did some type of exchange, and that was it. Married. We know
So
as
if
the
one
years went
spouse
on.
dies,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how does the government confirm that there's a surviving spouse and everything belongs to
Well,
that
that's why
surviving spouse
you
if there's
you have to create your own documents and get those authenticated by the government.
like authenticated as in public
That's what the
notarized?
webinar is going to be teaching how to do that.
Okay.
That's what the
Okay.
webinar is for, to show you here you create these documents, they're your documents, get them notarized, and then get all of that authenticated.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah.
Now
I'm
you
definitely.
have documents. Like there's some people that I married, and I created their statements and the times and the dates, and
Mhm.
that they got married, and had two witnesses plus my signature, had a notary sign on it right there on that day. Then they took and got that note that was notarized and get that authenticated. Now they can go get the same benefits anybody else would get as if they had a marriage license and like through the state.
Mhm.
You see,
Very
it's
good.
all about authenticated documents, not the document being authentic. Okay, this was authenticated. This is real. Boom. Now it's a legal document. Now it's evidence of the marriage. It's evidence of the birth. The passport even says you can show a baptismal certificate, or back in the day they recorded everything in a Bible,
Yeah, they did. Mhm.
and that was evidence if it was written in the Bible. They brought their Bible here. This is it. This, and that. This is how a lot of land got stolen by the
Mhm.
European, because they would go into the homes of the indigenous folks who, because a lot of people want to think that these indigenous folks were all um worshiping something else. They weren't Christian. They you have a lot of scholars say, well, the Christianity was brought to them by the European. That's not true.
That's not true at all.
Christianity was started off by black folks. That's where it started. They just came in and twisted some of the doctrines up, but it
Mhm.
mostly, because I have a book that show you some of the first Christians over in Africa wearing white hoods that look just like the Ku Klux Klan's outfits, and these are black folks, what we call black folks.
Mhm.
So even the Ku Klux Klan got their garb from black folks, because they
Mhm.
put the cross on it and all that stuff. That's a black tradition.
Mhm.
You tell one of them, they'll be like, no, we got this. Yeah, yeah. After your boy took it and made it that same thing. The, the Nazi symbol is not really. They demonized that symbol.
Come on. There they did.
They demonized that symbol, but that symbol is a symbol of peace.
Mm.
But because you got media, oh, those are Nazis, he's got that thing. But if you understand what that symbol really means, it has nothing to do with what they're saying it does.
Mm.
It has nothing. That dude, Hitler, he was into high science.
Oh yes, he was. He was straight demonic too.
Mm-hmm. So that if you go study the origins of that symbol, where it came from.
Oh, trust me, I am. I'm gonna look it up. I take a lot of
It's
what you
not
say and go
what
look it up.
they say that's the Nazi symbol. No, but that symbol comes from somewhere else, some other school of thought that has nothing to do with hate. But you can't, right now that's what it represents, because to the Jews it represents that, because they got tortured and treated in inhumane circumstances because of that. So to them, that traumatizes them. But when you really look deep into the symbol, it doesn't. It didn't originate that way. Let's put it like that. Things transform meanings over time.
It really do.
And
I got one last question about that marriage thing, and I'm gonna leave it alone because I need to attend this webinar. Well, how do we address those that say, well, the Bible say we ought to obey the law of the land, and the law of this land is that we have to have a registered marriage certificate, marriage license. How do we address that
But the
when someone
register,
say,
well, no. It says that, but it doesn't say that.
mhm,
Because you ever heard of something called common law marriage?
yeah, exactly, and they say they don't even do it no more, but certain
Right.
states I
Certain
heard still
states
practice it.
claim that. They claim they don't do what they don't what the common law marriage is when people just start cohabitating together and they start paying bills together, they call them common law. But it wasn't done under their religious beliefs. So that's what they don't recognize.
Mm,
But if I'm coming in saying this is how I get married under my I'm not doing no license with the state, they got to respect that. You see? That's what they don't recognize. Just two people getting together saying they common law married, like in North Carolina. They don't recognize that in just the regular sense. But if I have my church all set up and this is how we marrying folks and this is that, they recognize that. And what privilege, let me ask you a question. On the state level, what privilege that they can take away from you? What privilege can they take away from you for not having a license to be married?
what privilege can they take away
Right,
for not having a license?
right,
Uh, Probably you talking about on the state level.
right. Think about it real hard.
Really think that
There's
they can
nothing. They got
take
no power.
anything away.
Nothing. They can give or take from you for not having. Because if you go get those documents, I can get a passport and say marry and put that date on there. Hey, I'm married to this person. They will give me a passport, right?
Mm,
I can go get benefits from the company because I should prove that I'm married by my religious rights. Boom, they got to give it to me.
that's
See,
true.
all questions cease once you start saying it's under my religion.
Come on, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But if you just go in
Because
there,
Islam been getting
common
away
law,
with it
blah,
for
blah, they're
years.
not going to recognize that because you're not connected to anything that's sovereign. And what's sovereign is God's law. God's law is sovereign. Man can make all the laws he wants, but his law is sovereign. So if I say that my constitution is the Bible and I'm following what the Bible says on how to get married, that's what I do. Now, when they talk about following the law of the land, they're talking about things like traffic lights. Don't kill anybody, murder, rob, harm
Yeah.
anybody's property. That's what they're talking about. But when it comes to things where two men, God is the first one who created the first marriage. And all he did was put Eve in the garden with him. He didn't have no
That's
big
right.
ceremony.
And they didn't have a certificate
Right.
or license,
That's
rather.
it. They just, this
They
is
didn't
my
have a
wife.
license.
This is the woman here. Here she is, presented to you. Nothing glamorous.
Yeah.
We man came up with all this. You got to do this, all the frills and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's something we did. We complicated the issue. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm showing you because in this movement, a lot of people told, "Oh, go authenticate their stuff." No, you're not gonna get true remedy because that's it. Remember, one thing you got to understand: the government is a church by itself, and
Mm-hmm.
it's governed
It really is.
by its constitution, which is called its code and statutes and its laws and its constitution.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to court, that's a church. It's set up just like a pulpit,
It's set up just like one. Mm-hmm.
right? The benches sitting out,
They got a choir
everything.
stand.
Why? Because they used to hold church in the court, in there,
Mhm.
and they had court all in the same place.
That's true.
The counties are religious organizations. So if you're attaching to anything that they're doing, you're becoming a member of their church. And that means you have to follow their rules. This is why people like the Amish and Mennonite don't touch their stuff.
Absolutely. I
Jewish
forgot
people
about
don't
the
touch
Amish.
their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They got their own stuff. Now they only go to them for, they work as partners with them, but not against them, but as in partnership with certain things.
Mm-mm.
And I know that Jewish people create their own documents because I got a buddy who was born in North Carolina. He's an actor. He's born in North Carolina. He gave his paperwork. This happened many years ago. He gave his paperwork to his agent, who was a Jewish man, and he came back with a passport saying he was from New York. How did he do that? Why? Because he hooked them up with his church, created the documents, presented that to the passport people, and they gave it to him. Gave him the passport. Because that church document said he was born in New York, and he was born in New York. He was born again into that religion.
All right now. That's right. I mean, they call it loopholes.
It says
they've been
born again, right?
Had the loopholes for years.
Right. He was. So technically he didn't lie. There was no fraud involved. He became born again.
He did. Absolutely.
So that's kind of what that's what I'm gonna be talking about next Monday. So
all right. Thank you so much.
The group member, the premium membership price is in the membership. Don't click that other link because then it's going to cost you more. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Travel safely too, by the way.
All right. Thank you. All right. Man. I always end up. Sometimes I don't know where I'm going to go with the show, but I always go somewhere good. That's why I tell y'all, just get on in and just do it, man. Just do it. I was feeling beat down today, like I was tired. I was like, oh, God. But now I'm woke now. Somebody said they got the email. They're going to join the webinar. Thank you. Let me make sure I cover all the questions. No, this brother is asking, he's never heard of creating my own birth certificate. Does that have anything to do with my certificate? No, anything that the government is creating, you don't want nothing to do with that. I'm showing you how to create your own stuff that you can legally use in this system and still get recognized. Okay? Hospitals are extensions of the state's religious organization. All right. All right. With that being said, I'm going to shut it down. Until next time, you guys have a good rest of your evening. I think that was a good conversation. And with that being said, peace, prosperity, extreme wealth to all. Have a good day. So now what are you going to do? You heard what I had to say. And most of all, let's keep it real. I'm only repeating what you've already said to yourself. That's why you're here. That's why you tune in every week. Yeah, I'm only repeating what you already said to yourself. I'm not saying anything new. I might be saying it in a different way. I might be saying it in a different tone. I might be saying it with some force differently. But for the most part, your spiritual self has been knocking you over the head, telling you, hey, what you doing? Hey, 3 o'clock in the morning, get up. Write that thing, that inspirational thought you had. Write it down. Or go act on it. And what do? You look at that clock, turn over, I'll get it later and go to sleep. Akeem, how you know? How you know you in my bedroom? You can see us? You spying on us? No. I ain't got to spy on you. I ain't got to know. I know how we are. I know what we really are, and we all operate the same way. We come from the same designer. We come from the same designer who designed us to be spiritual and powerful and divine. And the way we get our inspiration is when everybody's calmed down and all the negative energy is subsided. That's when, in the wee hours of the night, is when God can really speak to you and get you in that corner and start to talk to you. That's what happens. How you know I can't? Because it happens to me all the time. And a lot of times I listen, and then sometimes I don't. And I always regret when I don't.